Welcome to the Mark Mead Experience, a roller coaster ride where nobody knows what to expect, ever. Not. Being even-keeled in business is extremely important. It allows people to know what they're getting consistently day in and day out. I want to give you some free game in this video on exactly what I did to screw that up and some of the things I did to fix it. Hopefully it helps you. Hope it brings value. God bless. Your emotions in business are one of the strongest tools you have. If you're in control of your emotions, you have a good chance of having clear thoughts. So when we think about emotionality and being even-keeled, I'm gonna give you some really cool things that are gonna help you understand the process and the concept of this, because boy, did I screw this up. Number one, know when to use your emotions. Knowing when to use your emotions is important. I mean, look, we all have emotions. We're not gonna act like we're robots or like we don't have emotions, but understand that like you don't have permission from everyone to be emotional, nor do people want to give you that permission. So you almost have to look at it like, no one asked, no one cares. Because if you view it differently, like, wow, they want to see it. You're like, that you have an emotionality card, but for so long. And you have to know when to use your emotions. And so I was a very emotional young kid being raised, and that just kind of translated in my teens and in my 20s different ways. Early on I was acting out a lot. I would, rage a lot. And I realized like that's not really the goal, is to get hot and scream. And then I would try to hone that, but it would be like, it would pile up and it would be like, stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. And instead of it being like kind of overt and unpredictable, it'd be, this kind of dragon fire, almost like the Hulk would come out. And that doesn't really work, obviously, because, the older you get, the less of ability you have for this. Now, keep in mind, I wasn't technically like, none of this at this point that I'm telling you has affected me in business. This is school. This is college. This is not even relationships to the point where it affected me, because at a young age, people are very much accepting of your situation, like your problems, as long as you're not too belligerent or flagrant. And I wasn't, but I did have a situation emotionally where I had to kind of learn how to harness my emotions. And so I'm giving you a trajectory age-wise so that you can understand, like, I didn't have this figured out by the time I'm in my mid-20s, where I'm becoming a professional, or where I'm, becoming someone who's in the workforce, who's constantly interacting with people and knowing what to do and say. And so although I understand I have to kind of be even-keeled, I've not mastered this idea of knowing when to use my emotions. And so this was a big deal. And as I started to, understand, hey, business is about, you have meetings in business, you have people that you work with on a day-to-day in business, departments you work with, colleagues you work with, bosses you work with, people that you need to do stuff for you, people you need to do stuff for. And as you realize, wait a minute, no, this is really about relationships. And so if I'm building relationships, what do I want my reputation to be? And so we go into two, where I didn't want to be a roller coaster ride. I didn't want to be high, low, high, low. Because if you're that unpredictable, people aren't going to be able to rely on you. They're not going to be able to trust you. They're not going to want to associate with you for long periods of time. And I didn't want that as part of my reputation. So I worked really hard at not being this kind of blow up guy. So blow up was no longer temper related. It became conversational related, right? And so it became like, you might say something and I might try to overpower what you're saying, or you might say something, I might say something, and you might say something back, and I might not agree. And then I want to, flex what I know about a topic, still emotional, right? Still emotionality. Still not being able to fully get my point across because what I'm saying is doused in emotion. People can feel it, people can sense it, people can taste it. And it's, too much emotionality shuts people down. And so now I want to grow in business. I need to become a better business professional, a better businessman, a better, relational person, someone that people can relate to, feel comfortable with, share their pain with, grow with. I got to grow. So I challenge my inner core to grow. I challenge what I know. I challenge what I don't know. I start reading books. I start trying to anchor and drop my tonality. And so all of this is starting to take place because I wanted to become a voice of reason. So that takes me to number 3. You want to be a voice of reason for your staff, for your people, for your community, for the people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, for the people around you. You want to be able to be viewed as someone that they can respect, someone that they can share their concerns with, someone that will listen to them, someone that will care, someone that will do something about the things that they're dealing with. Everybody's dealing with something different. We got people all over the country doing different, like in sales and, people internal and, people inside the community that we work with. And we realize we have to meet the needs of all these people. Do you think that you think that every community you talk to, you're going to address their concerns just the way you want to? You're definitely not. Now, what I learned is in high pitches or in demonstrative tones or in aggressive tones, I got my people. They feel me. But if I'm talking to 400 people, I only have that percentage of people. And so that may not play well with 300 of them. Okay, I lost 300 people? Because that's how it happened. If I'm killing it in sales and I'm leading from the front and I got my sword and I'm chasing down, and we're posting leaderboards and we're screaming who's number one and blah, blah, blah. That's great, but you are going to lose some people. And I used to go, I don't care. I don't care because they're not the producers. Well, that's not a good idea. And I'm not saying we need to be all inclusive, but we need to be all inclusive. We need to find a way to work with people where they're at. And the truth is everyone's not in the same place at the same time. Being on a journey, being on a walk, being somewhere in life where you're not heard or felt is so fine. Completely fine. As leaders, we need to reach those people and be able to slowly pull them across the finish line or pull them across to our side so we can help them better. Sometimes it's in small groups, sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's with the masses. When you're with the masses, you're gonna reach less people, that's okay. But understand this, as you are working with people, we are in the high people business. You're in business, you work with people 9 times out of 10. And so when we're dealing with people at so many different levels, we need people to be able to receive messages from us all the time. They don't always have to receive it the same way. We just need to be able to be heard. Sometimes I've done messages where half the people hear me, half the people don't. Sometimes I've done messages where more of the people hear me than not. Sometimes I've done messages where I've lost a good percentage of the crowd. Is that my goal? To lose a percentage of the crowd? No, that's not my goal. That means I gotta grow. That means you gotta grow. That means if we're growing and we're learning and we're shaping and molding, we're becoming something new, no big deal, but understand in business, the communication that plays everything out, that translates everywhere is even-keeled. And so when you get to 4, you start thinking short-term versus long-term communication. Do I have relationships with people? I remember being in a situation where, you're upset because, your phone service interrupted on you. Well, I don't really have a relationship with Verizon. I pay the money, they give me a service. they take my money, they do what they want, they charge more than everyone else. I don't really have a relationship with the customer service rep that I talk to that might be overseas. I don't. So if I call them and I want to base on them, which I don't do anymore, but 10 years ago, I had no problem basing on a Verizon service person in the name of, I'm upset, I want to be heard. Well, try doing that with an insurance carrier that I work. Same thing, it's service, right? Hey, I'm gonna call up this insurance company and their customer service rep. I hate the way you guys did this. You didn't draft the policy on time. This is ridiculous. This can't happen in business. This is crazy. Someone should lose their job for this. Let me talk to a manager. How do you think that's gonna work out? And so you understand short term, which means I might get ice cream and I might have not put my chocolate on it for my sundae and my cherry on top, and I can be as mad as I want to be, and it's not going to matter. Versus, we get ice cream from this place every single month for staff events and staff retreats and blah, blah, blah. And why don't we just be nice? Now, I don't believe in short-term blow-ups anymore. I'm giving you an example of what that looks like so that you can understand how important even-keeled is. We can be even-keeled in a short-term situation. By the way, you know what I learned? Tony Dungy, quiet strength. You can be quiet and punch. You don't have to speak, you don't have to scream and yell. You can be nice, calm, cool, collected, and that message gets right across. And that's powerful because I learned that this is not just a sprint. A lot of times in business, you're dying to sprint. You're dying to sprint. And when you're sprinting, you're not looking at the view. You're either looking down or you're looking straight ahead. I'm a believer in sprinting in certain situations. But when you start going long term and you realize it's a marathon, you gotta pack up some gear, you gotta pack up some food, you gotta make sure you have water in certain places, you gotta make sure you rest well, you make sure you catch the view. And you realize long term, we're going here. So long term, what's my reputation? What is my reputation long term? Do I want to be known as somebody who's just emotionally all over the place? That's, always sad or always mad or always angry or always this. No, I want to be someone that can walk into any situation, any community, any environment, and I can make my presence felt by what I bring to the table, right? And so you want to look at this as you're starting to grow in business, as you're starting to get where you want to be, understand that every meeting's a little bit differently. Every boardroom's a little bit differently. How you show up is important. And how you say goodbye is important. The content in between is what needs to be handled, but at the end of the day, everybody can talk like gentlemen and get business done. So when we get to 5, we talk about less emotionality equals a better reputation. And I learned this because as I started to deal with situation after situation after situation after situation after situation, and I got people that know me from my past, and I got people that know me now, and sometimes I walk into a room of people that don't know me, and they'll go, wow, like, you're really calm. And I'm like, you don't know me. And I'm like, but if you bring people in my past and I say, I'm like, dude, stop. And now that's not to say you can't change, I certainly can, and I did, because it was important. This is value, these table stakes. I'm not here to play games. This isn't a game. This isn't like, I hope it works. It's like, it's gonna work. Well, what do you need to do better? Work on the things you're not great at, the things that you can get better at. And so that's a call to you, that's a call to me, that's a call to all of us on what we can do. Being in the insurance business, it is an extremely white collar business, extremely white collar business. And so much is said without a lot being said sometimes. It's very monotone, very even-keeled. And if you want to be effective, which I desperately wanted to be effective, I needed to mirror a lot of the rooms I was in. That was very important to me. Why? Because I wanted to get ahead. And so I'm all good with, coming in as myself and being exactly who I am, but I need to understand, I needed to learn how to be a better business professional. And so I wanted to get better at being even-keeled. And in certain situations, I can cut up differently. In certain situations, I can do this differently and all that. But at the end of the day, what is my reputation? What is my reputation? If I'm dealing with staff, or if I'm dealing with partners, or if I'm dealing with vendors, I don't care how long we are in business with the vendor for. Whether it's overnight or they're doing one event for us, or we're gonna be doing business with them for 5 years. I just wanna be even keeled. I just wanna make sure that the service levels on both sides match. I wanna be a good partner. I wanna be a great partner. And so when you think about your business, you think about your structure, you think about, listen, I've done business with all kinds of vendors. Unfortunately, service sucks these days. But you have people in business that think it's okay to not meet the demand of the client or the customer. They literally are okay with doing the bare minimum. That's their reputation. I walked into one establishment, it was a food establishment, it was taking too long, like way too long. I tried to give them a tip. I said, hey, your food's amazing, but the thing that is going to hurt you in this town is the fact that it's overly excessive. And the owner of the restaurant looked at me and said, well, we're not McDonald's. I'm thinking, okay, because that's the analogy I made. I called you McDonald's. All right, that's your defense mechanism. I don't know, dude. They're no longer in business. I'm not here to say that that's why they're no longer in business, but I tried to offer up, like their reputation would have been incredible if they could drop the ticket times and serve incredible food. And so, you know, I deal with, you know, service providers that, you know, are in the, you know, wellness business. And it's kind of like in the wellness business, service has to be a 9 or 10 because I'm coming to you if it's hair or nails or massage or whatever the deal. And service is a 6? Or I sit down, I gotta wait 20 minutes for someone to say hi to me? I don't know. Is that your reputation? Okay, well, if you're in a situation where it didn't go well, what are you doing to make it right? Do you get upset? Are you emotional when someone brings something to you in your environment, in your store, in your practice? Or do you meet their emotionality with the ability to take care of them? Because that's your reputation. I learned that, dude, it doesn't matter if I fight fire with fire. Like, what? I don't know what I'm winning. What am I winning? Yeah, if you attack me, that's different. But you got a problem with something I said or did or didn't say, let's converse. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm super open to it. And by the way, I'm not emotional. I'm even keeled. Why? Because I want a great reputation. I want to be able to represent myself in every room, every situation I go to. That's important. It's important in business. It's important for long-term stability in business. And number 6, you want to be respected in all communities, every business community you're in, everything you do, everything you stand upon, everything you put your hand to, everything you put your stamp to. People need to know that's your stamp. And stamps in life are important. And so these things are awesome, man. Why? Because I wanted to share this with you because I battled with this for the better part of 20 plus years. Getting a little better each day, trying to figure out why it was so important to learn people and handle people and approach people and work with people and meet people's needs and meet people's concerns, because we're in the people business. And I don't know, I think I'll always be in the people business. And I just realized, like, this emotionally even keeled deal was a game changer. Am I perfect at it? Definitely not. But boy, am I a lot better than I was when I started. And that's all we're trying to do here, is give you a little bit of gain that you can use to accelerate your curves, to accelerate your advances, to grow, and to use these stepping tools as a ladder to win. That's what we want for you, and we hope this helps. We hope we bring value. We hope this serves you well. On a long-term reputation in business, if you want to be respected in business, you should want that. This stuff is going to help you big time. You start building a community, building a reputation, building an expectation around yourself. This stuff kills. I hope this helps. Please comment. Talk to us about some of the things you've done over time to position yourself to win in this regard, to remain even-keeled in business. Talk about some times where you weren't even-keeled, where you might have screwed something up, but you fixed it and got better. Or talk to us about the journey that you're on. Either way, we'd love for you to subscribe. We'd love for you to continue to receive drop downs timely. And know when we're dropping content, it's just about the value we can bring to our community. We truly hope this helps. God bless.